I just saw your tweet about asking Garrett Crochet on trade conversations. What was that conversation like? It seems like Garrett didn't have much on what Chris Getz had to offer about being a part of trade conversations.
So yesterday, just generally speaking, Chris Getz mentioned that he either has or is or will pull players aside to kind of let them know what's real and what isn't when it comes to trade rumors, because he knows that they're seeing it. He knows that their families are seeing it and texting them about it and stuff like that. So he wants to be as upfront with these guys as he possibly can. Again, that was speaking generally to just kind of the approach that he's going to take, not to a specific player. Garrett Crochet was asked after the game today about that and kind of been, kind of set up in the idea of, how helpful has that been for you? Has that been a good thing that Chris is doing? And Garrett just said he hasn't had any of those conversations. He didn't say, that he has had them yet or that he won't have them in the future. He just says, haven't had them. And so I think that just kind of maybe speaks to the fact that maybe there is no update that needs to be provided, or perhaps we're not necessarily getting the full picture there, but it just seems that that hasn't occurred to this point, even though we are hearing Garrett Crochet's name being mentioned. It hasn't been mentioned in terms of a specific, and so I think if you want to hear the what's real, what isn't thing, maybe you get down the road and there's a tweet, the whoever, Team X is interested in Garrett Crochet kind of thing, and they're talking about him with the White Sox kind of thing. If that's true, if that isn't true, maybe that's when Chris Getz steps in and has that conversation with him specifically.
And Herb, you brought up the idea of extending Crochet. Getz yesterday said more than anything, it's just helping him navigate this season, putting him in a position for future success. I know he's focused on that, and that's where the organization is as well. Ken Rosenthal today on the Just Baseball show mentioned that his expectation is that the White Sox will cash in. When you've got Crochet, who is a bit of an unknown still because of the innings and injury history, you move him. Robert, too, you've got him healthy, trade him. So this is obviously going to be what we're following for the next 6 weeks. But is there any way you lean? Do you feel like the White Sox would be really fumbling the bag here if they just let Crochet walk, even though they would be getting prospects in return?
I'm always of the mind that if you have a young, controllable pitcher and a young, controllable future superstar, if he's not already, you keep him. So those are building blocks. Like, I know that you're trying to get building blocks, but you have two already on the roster, and you have the cost certainty for both of them. So I'm always of that mind. But as I was saying earlier with Chris Getz, maybe he sees and knows much more than I do about his own team and the staff that he has and the money available and all this extra stuff that I'm not thinking of. And so if he decides to pull the trigger on Garrett Crochet and or Luis Robert Jr., I'm sure by seeing the return, he's saying, without saying, we cannot rebuild this team with those two players, even with the extended money and time they have left in their contract. The better move is for us to move forward and have a fresh start with the boatload of players we're going to get back, and that will jumpstart this rebuild quicker than having those two guys on the team.
We all silly like the mayor.